What up guys, my name is Bucky and welcome to another sweet tutorial. And in this one I'm actually going to be teaching you guys how to make a physics puzzle game using Construct 2. Now if you're unfamiliar with the genre, it's basically a game just like Angry Birds. We're going to have a cannon and we're going to be flinging meatballs out of it, and we're also going to build a tower like a wooden block tower and try to knock it down and reach a target. So I actually uploaded all of the files and put them on my forum. So if you're watching this on YouTube, click right under the video. There's a link right now that says, I don't know, like download images here or whatever I decide to call it. And if you click it, it's going to take you to this. Just right click all of these, hit save image as. Again, you got this one right here. Let me adjust my seat. So you got this one right here, which is basically the land where we're going to be building everything. We're going to be building the cannon on the left hand side, flinging the meatballs over and knocking the tower down on the right. So these are the blocks that we're going to be building. This is the target. I just have my face because, you know, what thing better to shoot than my face. This hand blaster, I called it, must be an awesome cannon. That's where we're going to be flinging the meatballs out of. Of course, we need a meatball in this blue square, and I'll tell you guys why we need that later. So again, if you're watching this on my website, then head over to the forum, and they're in the game design forum. And if you're watching on YouTube, click down, right click, save all these. So now at the end you should have a folder that looks like this with all of your crap in it, except this one. So now let's go ahead and rip open Construct 2. And also I want to mention this. If this is your very first time using Construct 2, then please check out my other videos first, because this one's going to be a little more advanced. I'm going to assume you guys already know how to do basic things like import sprites and work with the event sheet. So I really want to just cover the logic of physics and how to make a physics puzzle game, not really the basics of Construct 2. So make sure you're again, if you're just a beginner, then check out the forum or check out my other videos. So now that we open this, just go ahead and click new project, new empty project. And the first thing that I want to do is actually change that layout size, because right now if we scroll out, we can see that it's kind of like the same shape as a piece of paper, but this game right here is going to be longer, like shorter or not as tall and a lot wider. So the size of this background image is actually a little bit bigger than we're going to have the layout. But anyways, hold control, hit 0, get back to normal in your layout. So again, to change the size of the layout, just go ahead and click anywhere on the white, which is your layout. And I'm going to change my size to 1500 by 480 pixels. Now you can see it gives you a nice long layout, the exact size that we need for this game. And now once we have our layout change, we can go ahead and import that background image. So double click this, and I'm just going to go ahead and select tiled background. I don't know if you guys are using a tiled background, or if you're making your own game, or you're going to use my images, but it'll work for either one. So double click this and just click anywhere on your screen for now. Hit this folder icon and navigate to this background. Hit open and close. And this little warning is just saying, whenever you're making a tiled background, it's good to use it in multiples of 32, like 32, 64, or anything doubled, because it just Construct 2 is able to work with those easier. But this is going to be fine since we're just using one big image. And now once this is selected, the first thing I want to do is change the position property to 0, 0. Hit enter. And all that does is it butts it up in the top left corner nice and snug. And I also want to change the size of this to 1500 by 480, the same size as the layout, and hit enter. And also there's a little bit of this image that gets cropped down here, but it's just more of the ground. It's not important, and I actually like it that way, because that way, I don't want like half the screen taken up to be taken up with ground. So this is pretty sweet right here, and actually, to tell you the truth, the background image is now completely done. So just to make sure that we don't accidentally edit it or anything like that, I think it would be a good idea to lock it right now. So in your layers panel right here, right next to projects, go ahead and rename layer 0 to background. Now once that's done, you can lock that. Now as you can see, just like before, you can't select it or anything. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and add a new layer, name this bad boy game, and of course make sure that this layer is selected from now on. This is where we're going to be building all our stuff. So our cannon, the meatballs we're going to be flinging out, all of the cool stuff is going to happen on this game layer. So again, make sure you have this one selected, and once you do, let's head over to the layer properties, and I want to show you guys one thing. What's going to happen is we want to change this parallax property to 160 by 160 and hit enter. Now, just to give you guys a real quick description of what the parallax property is, it's basically the camera speed for the layer. So the faster your camera is, the faster it is allowed to move around your layer. So by default, it was a little slow. If you have it like at 0, then your camera doesn't move at all. So that's why it's really good for like heads-up displays and like health bars and stuff like that. But since we're going to be following the meatball flinging through the air with the camera, that's why I wanted to speed it up a little bit to make sure that it has enough speed. And also, if you add too much speed, then it just like it looks like you just sped, like your camera's like speeding around your screen. So you don't want that. So now that we got the parallax properties done, we can go ahead and start importing all that crap we need. So double click anywhere on your layout and choose sprite, insert, and we'll just insert these one at a time, and hopefully you guys know how to do this. Just load an image and do the block. Looks good. And actually the shortcut, the easier way to do this, someone calling me? Am I just hearing things? Alright. Physics game, buckyball, cannon, what else we got? The meatball, and the square. Close out of those. So again, let's go ahead and rename these one by one. This one is called the block. It's basically the pieces we're going to be making the tower out of. This one, buckyball, I'll actually name this target ball, since that's the target that we're aiming for. That's the thing that we hope to blow up. Now this, it's named cannon, which that works right now. This one is named meatball, so that's where we're going to be shooting out of the cannon. And this one is called square. Pretty sweet, and I think we're good to go. So actually, the one other thing that I want to make sure that we do in this tutorial is actually if we double click anywhere on the layout and we scroll down to mouse right here and hit insert, what we now just did is basically added mouse input to the game. So now we can use mouse events, click around the screen, and Construct 2 is going to be able to recognize that. So we pretty much have our layout in our game, the very basic setup. Our project is set up. So in the next tutorial, what I want to do is I want to begin working on the logic, specifically showing you guys how to add that mouse input and how to move the cannon around with your mouse so you can pretty much aim it where you want. But for now, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.